know. Turn your chairs. Okay, thanks for coming to the first sports nutrition talks of the year. I know we're going to have 2 more coming up here late in the semester. We've got Allison Weiss here, who's going to be joining us, who will do our first nutrition talk. At the end, you'll be able to ask questions. We'll have a question and answer period for you if you like. And then throughout the semester, we're going to have some other presentations as well. We're going to have a financial aid talk. Again, like I said, and other sports nutrition talks as well. So we have a bunch of different events coming up here for all of you. So just make sure you're looking at social media and checking your emails that I'm sending out. Okay? So Allison, welcome.
Thank you. All right. So yes, so I am a dietitian, but I'm really excited to be here today because it's actually my youth athletic experience that got me interested in nutrition and pursuing a dietetics career. And so in college, I was also a student athlete, so I know the time demands of that. So thank you guys for being here today and making the time to listen to me. I'm going to try and keep this pretty casual, so feel free to ask questions as I'm going through the presentation. So I know we have softball here. What other sports do we have? Water polo. Swim. Any others?
Softball.
All right. Okay, so good variety going on. Right. So, game plan for today. We're going to talk about why do we care about nutrition for sports performance? How do we know how much nutrition we need? Provide nutritional support to allow an athlete to stay healthy, injury-free, while maximizing the functional and metabolic adaptations to a periodized exercise program. Lots of fancy words in there. I'm going to break that down a little more simple. Basically, nutrition goals and requirements are not static. So just like throughout your season, you're not doing the same thing at practice every day, your nutrition needs are going to change from day to day. So we're not going to be doing the same thing. So we're going to need to keep reassessing where our goals are and what our needs are. Our nutrition plans need to be individualized. What's going to work for one person might not work for another. Okay, so the process for doing this, we're going to start by assessing what are our nutrition needs. We're going to translate that into what does that mean in the food I'm eating. And then we're going to try and accommodate the individual's schedules, preferences, like do they have allergies or do they really not like certain foods, and the needs. So for energy needs, so this is how do we know how much energy I'm burning, how many calories I need. This is going to vary based on our training period and our goals, but there's 4 components that go into what our energy needs are. There's our resting or basal metabolic rate, which is essentially all the energy your body needs to do its life things, the breathing, pumping blood, all of that. We also burn calories through the thermic effect of food as we're digesting what we eat. We've got non-exercise activity thermogenesis, so all the activity we're doing when we're like walking from place to place, brushing our teeth, fidgeting, those kinds of things. And then we've got our exercise energy expenditure. That's what we're doing when we're working out. Okay, so the non-exercise and exercise expenditure, those are what we're going to call physical activity. So to know how many calories that adds up to, we've got several different what we call predictive equations that can be used. So I've listed some of the most common ones. There's lots and lots of research and science behind those. I'm not going to go into that because that's real boring. But just know that these do work. They are our best predictive models. Some of them are going to estimate resting metabolic rate, and then you're going to use physical activity levels. Others are going to estimate your energy requirements and use physical activity coefficients. Okay, basically just different variables to assess how many calories we need. And it's often beneficial to calculate your energy needs using more than one of these equations to give you a good range. Okay, so I'm going to take you through 2 of my favorite equations to use when I'm working with active people or athletes. So the first one is going to be the Metabolic equation. This one, it's going to calculate your resting metabolic rate. There's different equations based on if you're male or female. You're going to plug in a couple different variables to the equation. Probably didn't think you were coming to math class when you came to the presentation. Here you are. So you're going to plug in your weight in kilograms. You're going to plug in your height in centimeters and your age in years. Then plug that in, you get your resting metabolic rate. Then you're going to multiply that by your physical activity level. So that's what this little lower box represents, are the different physical activity levels. Sedentary, that's going to be someone who's sitting around most of the day. Maybe that's you on your rest days. Low physical activity, that's going to be where we're maybe walking from place to place, but again, not being very active. The active level, that's exercising continuously for about an hour, give or take. And then very active, you're engaging in several hours of vigorous physical activity. So you can do the long math on this, or you can cheat using the free online calculators for this. The other equation that I like to use is from the Institute of Medicine. It's the estimated energy expenditure equation. Again, different equations based on sex. But this one, you're going to first figure out your physical activity coefficient. There's those 4 categories again, but they give you specific numbers instead of a range, and those numbers are different based on male versus female. So you're going to figure that physical activity level out, then you're going to plug in age, weight, height, and you get your total calories there. So let's see how these actually work. I've got this example of a 20-year-old male endurance athlete. He's a cross-country runner. He is 5'9", or 175 centimeters tall. He weighs 73 kilograms. His estimated physical activity level is 2.2, or PA is 1.48. So example 1, using the Mifflin safety or equation, first plugging in his height, weight, and age. So his resting metabolic rate is 1,728 calories. Lucky guy, he gets to do a lot. Then we're going to multiply that by his physical activity level, which is very high. Multiply it by 2.2. It needs about 3,800 calories from that equation. Example 2, using the estimated energy requirements equation, plugging in the PA of 1.48. Doing that math, you get that he needs about 3,588 calories. So these are different numbers, but that's not a bad thing. We like a range, because I don't know if you guys have ever tried to eat exactly a certain amount of calories in a day, exactly 2,000, but that's really, really hard to do. Okay, so it's better if we have a little bit of a range to aim for. Okay, so this guy, I'm going to recommend that you aim for 3,600 to 3,800 calories a day. So that's really the first step in assessing what do I need to do with my nutrition. We got to know how much energy do we need. There's some things that could temporarily increase your energy needs. Exposure to cold or heat. So this would be exposure that you're not used to. So like let's say I'm used to practicing in the afternoon when it's fairly warm outside, and then all of a sudden coach says, tomorrow morning we're practicing at 5 a.m. Okay, it's going to be pretty cold in the morning, right? So your body's going to have to work a little harder to warm up and work in those conditions. So you're probably going to expend a little bit more energy. Fear and stress, the hormones that are released in those times can increase your energy needs. So as student athletes, possibly around the time of the finals, that might increase things. High altitude exposure, so possibly when flying, or possibly if you're doing altitude training. Some physical injuries, especially the ones where you're working out through them, because your body's now having to do the workout and try and recover from the injury. And when we increase in fat-free mass or muscle, that can increase our energy needs. Any questions on how to assess the energy needs? Okay. So now if we want to change our body composition, so let's say we want to increase our muscle mass, and we want to gain some weight, there's a process to that. We want to do that gradually, because we want that weight usually as athletes to be muscle, not fat, right? We want it to be useful weight. So in order to do that, you want to increase your calories by about 500 a day. And time. We don't want to do this at like one time, like at night have a pint of Ben & Jerry's ice cream. Instead, we want to have those calories throughout the day, preferably picking some nutritious foods and quality foods. And then we need to reassess our calorie needs often to continue that weight gain, because remember, when we're calculating how much energy we need, weight is one of the factors that we plug in. So as we gain weight, that's going to change how much we need. Now what if we want to lose weight? We want to become more lean for the season. The recommended weight loss rate is less than 1% a week. So we need to be reasonable in our goals with this. Optimal appears to be about 0.7% per week. If we go higher than 1%, there's deterioration in anaerobic and aerobic performance. So if we lose weight too fast, we're not going to be able to perform as well. And also gradual weight loss is going to be most sustainable. And this should ideally take place well before the competitive season. Ideally, you want to be trying to get more lean in the preseason. So a strategy of using a slight energy deficit of 250 to 500 calories while also increasing the protein to up to 2.3 grams per kilogram per day. That should help you maintain your muscle mass while losing the fat mass that we want. Again, you want to focus on incorporating quality foods. The timing of things is really important because that's going to help you prevent you from feeling hungry. And again, reassess often. We're changing that weight variable and we keep reassessing. So how do I know when I'm not eating enough? So if we're trying to lose weight, but what if we're not eating enough? So there's this syndrome called relative energy efficiency syndrome. So this is the physiological complications that can occur in a male or female athlete who does not consume sufficient energy. So this used to kind of be described as the female athlete triad, but we now recognize that it doesn't matter if you're female or male, you can be in an energy deficit that can compromise your performance. This is kind of an inclusive description. So if we have REDS, this can have health and performance consequences that can compromise our athletic performance both in the short term and in the long term. So if we feel like this is something that's going on, we want to seek professional assistance. So what this looks like, potential health consequences, listed there. Some to highlight would be loss of menstrual function or irregularity, bone health, more susceptible to fractures, hematological, iron deficiency or anemia, stunted growth and development without adequate energy. We can have compromised immune systems, more susceptible to getting sick from the flu and colds. And then performance consequences, we can find that you have decreased endurance. So let's say you're doing this practice or this workout that you've done several times and all of a sudden it's really hard to do. That may be a sign that we're in too much of a deficit. Could be due to a lot of other things, but it could be a sign that this is going on. So it can also cause depression, decreased concentration, irritability, lots of potential consequences. So again, if you feel like this is something that's going on, want to talk to someone, talk to a coach, athletic trainer, whatever resources you can find, health center. But, okay, so we've got our energy needs figured out. We know how many calories we want. But now we need to know what should I be eating? Where should that come from, that food? So our energy sources, we refer to them as our macronutrients, carbs, protein, fat, and our micronutrients, vitamins, minerals, and then our fluids and electrolytes. Due to time constraints today, I'm not going to talk about micronutrients. I'm just going to say those are important. You're going to get them most likely if you have a variety in your diet. But what we're going to talk about is the macronutrients. Okay, carbohydrates. This is the most important macronutrient for athletes. Okay, it's going to comprise about half of your calories. And this is because it's an important fuel source for brain and muscles. exercise. So recommendations range from 3 to 10 grams per kilogram of body weight for carbs. And this depends on the fuel demands of the training or the competition going on. Okay, so a little bit of science there. Carbs are going to offer an advantage over fat as a substrate because it provides a greater yield of ATP or energy per volume of oxygen that can be delivered. So basically, our most efficient fuel source is carbs. We're not very good at using fat or protein. So if we want to perform efficiently, we need those carbs available. Targets need to be individualized to the athlete, the sport, the event, the timing. We're going to go through how to figure out what those targets are for you. And they should be periodized. They should vary by the week, the day, the season. And consumption of adequate energy, particularly from carbohydrates, is really important in order to spare the amino acids and allow them to do the protein synthesis or to allow your body to do the muscle building it wants to do with your training. So, guidelines for carbohydrate intake for daily fuel and recovery. So this is your day-to-day practice needs. What do you need? These are intended to provide high carb availability and meet the needs of the muscle and central nervous system. So, on a light intensity day where maybe we're not really working very hard or just working on skills, then our needs are going to be about 3 to 5 grams per kilogram of body weight for the whole day. If we've got a moderately intense day, that means we're exercising for about an hour. That doesn't mean we're at practice for an hour, that means we're moving for an hour. And then our needs are going to be about 5 to 7 grams per kilogram. High intensity would be working out 1 to 3 hours. You're going to need about 6 to 10. Very high would be 4 to 5 hours of moderate to high intensity, and you'd need up to 8 to 12 grams per kilogram. You're probably not going to hit that very high level unless you've got like 2-a-day practices going on or you're training for some ultra endurance. Most likely you guys can't be more in that range. Yeah?
Can you give us an example like the light? I mean, I know what a 3 to 5 kilogram is, maybe a bag of sugar or something like that. But like what would you say? Like 2 peanut butter and jelly sandwiches? Just give us a few examples of what we might be eating before a practice.
Yeah. So this 3 to 5 grams per kilogram, that's in your entire day. So let's say I weigh 60 kilograms. That means I need 180 to 300 grams of carbs in my entire day. Okay, if we have a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, that's going to provide us about 45 grams of carbs. Okay, put that in perspective. I am going to go through an example of a meal plan at the end of this that kind of shows how we get those carbs, but yeah, we're going to translate this into food, absolutely. Yeah, these are a bunch of numbers, right? And this is food. Good question.
I think we have questions.
Oh, yeah.
How much is 60 kilograms into pounds?
Good question, sorry. So, in nutrition, we talk in kilograms in more the universal terms, but so 2.2 pounds for 1 kilogram. So 60 would be like 130. Good question.
Thanks.
Yeah, so if you want to know what your weight in kilograms is, divide it by 2.2. So carb guidelines for acute fueling strategy. So right before a practice or a game, it's going to be a good idea to have some carbs because that's going to be your most efficient energy source. That you're doing better, that you've got this high energy availability, so that you will actually work harder, you'll have a better performance. So even if you were just to swish some Gatorade in your mouth and then spit it out, you would actually work more efficiently. That's good.
So it's not necessarily the carbohydrates that stimulate, it's basically, because Gatorade doesn't have carbohydrates in it, does it?
Oh yeah.
It's high in carbo?
Yes. As long as you don't get Gatorade Zero, the regular Gatorades, they're going to have a lot of carbohydrates. That's what they're designed to do. They got lots of carbs. So you want to try and find a refueling plan that's suitable for you. I recommend trying a couple of different products if you are in a sport that we're going to need to be refueling for. And use those at practice. Don't try it for the first time at a game. are in a really high endurance situation, it's sometimes beneficial to have a glucose-fructose combination or having some fruit as well. So if we were in like a soccer game at halftime, having that orange would be very beneficial. So when do we need fuel during our exercise? This is the general guidelines. If you're going to be exercising or competing for less than 45 minutes, you don't need any during it. 45 to 75 minutes, little bits might be beneficial. Hour to 2.5 hours, that's when it's really going to become crucial. You're going to need about 30 to 60 grams per hour. Our ultra endurance athletes up to 90 an hour. Okay, so basically what you want to get from this is you want to think about, okay, how long am I demanding my body perform? And do I have that energy available for that prolonged period of time? If it is a long period of time. And that might vary from day to day. All right, so our next macronutrient is protein. This is going to make up about 20-ish% of your calories. Recommended ranges are for athletes are 1.2 to 2 grams per day. The general population would do about 0.8 to 1. Okay, so you are going to have an increased protein need because you're building muscle. And even higher intakes might be needed for short periods where we're doing really intense training or we're trying to lose that. You want to try and ingest protein every 3 to 5 hours, and this is because you're only able to absorb so much at a time. Okay, so we know it's going to be most optimal if every few hours we're having something with some protein. That's where we're going to be able to meet those needs. We would prefer that it be high quality protein. Yes?
What's like your opinion on protein shakes and stuff like that?
Yeah, good question. So, what I think people often underestimate is how much protein you actually do get from food, and that it is very easy to meet your protein needs with food. So it's not very often that you actually need a protein supplement to meet your needs. They can be useful in certain situations, but it's not. Definitely, most people do not need it.
I have a follow-up question.
Okay.
Sorry. So like, if you take protein and like other supplements, like let's say you took pre-workout and then also amino acids, like, it's like mixing supplements like in a three-way like that, is that bad? Like I feel like at least like 5% of your blood must be supplements now.
So, I mean, pre-workouts, there's a lot of different types and ingredients that could be in those. Most often, what the main ingredient is caffeine, because that can trick us to work harder. So, caffeine plus amino acids, aka protein, should be fine to do together, but may or may not actually help. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, so there's no health dangers.
That is not what I said. So certain caffeine levels and NCAA rules you can't go above, and then also you may want to be real careful on what that does to your muscle contraction.
Okay.
But also what you have to be concerned about is what you're putting into your body versus just putting things, right?
Yes, so the purity of supplements is really important, and I have that on another slide, because supplements are not FDA regulated, okay? So that means that they do not have to prove that they are safe before they are sold to you, okay? So they may or may not have what they say is in them. So any supplement you buy, you want to make sure it has third-party verification. So there's different parties that'll do that. There's USP, Consumer Brand. So basically, if you're buying a supplement, if it doesn't have a third-party signature saying, yes, this has what it says it has in it, that's probably a risky product for you guys to be taking in, especially because you're NCAA athletes. You can get drug tested, right?
Yeah.
So,
Thank you.
be careful. So, having protein and carbs together during the recovery period after your workouts, that can result in improved muscle protein balance. So you're going to recover best if you have a combination of protein and carbs after your workout. Studies show that you have an upregulation of muscle synthesis for at least 24 hours after activity, and that's regardless of if it's more aerobic or resistance training. So basically, your body's very efficient at using the protein that you give it for about 24 hours after you work out. So that's why we don't need to have these crazy high amounts of protein. Your body's going to do a very good job of using it. About 0 to 2 hours after strenuous activity, you'll want to get in some protein. That's going to help with the recovery process. And chronic training studies have shown that milk-based proteins after resistance exercise are most effective at increasing your muscle strength and providing favorable changes in body composition. Actually, interestingly, particularly in female athletes, if we want to get a more lean physique, having milk-based protein after is really beneficial. So having like a glass of chocolate milk. And this is because of the leucine content, it leads to better anabolic response, and then the digestion and absorptive kinetics of the branched chain amino acids that are in milk. And if you're lactose intolerant, I recommend going for the lactate as opposed to any of the plant-based milks like your cashew milk or almond milk. Those are not going to give you the same benefit. So, prefer to get our protein from food. High quality protein food examples could be milk, beef, chicken, turkey, cottage cheese, eggs. Those servings provide you about 20 grams of protein. And we talked about the supplements, being very careful with those, looking for third-party verification. But as I'm going to show you in the example, it's very easy to meet your protein needs with food. Fats are other macronutrient, and this should make up about 20 to 35% of your calories, with less than 10% coming from saturated fat. It's a necessary dietary component. It's going to provide you energy, it helps with cell membrane function, and it's going to help you absorb the fat-soluble vitamins, which are A, D, E, and K. And research shows that high-fat, carb-restricted diets do not provide a benefit to the performance of competitive athletes. So the keto diet is not going to help you out. You don't need to go to more than 35%. Just get the blood work. Yeah, so that's real popular. So the different
Are you saying
types.
that that's basically just going to help weight loss, that's not helping athletes, right?
Not going to improve athletic performance to follow that diet. So the different types of fat, and I kind of listed them from top to bottom, the best and not so great, worst. So our omega-3 fats, those are really, really beneficial. You're going to get those from fish, eggs, flaxseed, chia seed. So try to get more of those in your diet. Monounsaturated fats, those are also really good. That's going to come from a lot of our nuts, avocados, olives, a lot of plant-based oils. Polyunsaturated fats, those are okay fats. So that would be things like corn oil, margarine, pumpkin seeds, sesame seeds, walnuts, those kinds of things. Saturated fats, these are the ones that we want to limit to less than 10% of our calories. So like bacon, butter, cream cheese, sour cream, steaks, ribs, sausage, unless no one else
It's all the best things.
I know they taste good, but they don't do great things for your body. I know they're delicious. I'm not going to argue that. Okay, and then trans fats, those we definitely want to try and limit as much as possible. Products are working to eliminate those completely, but you can still find those in some commercial baked products or frozen foods or crackers. Now we get asked about supplements. For fat supplementation, fish oil may be beneficial, especially if you are someone who suffers from asthma. It's been shown to help decrease those symptoms. And you may want to consider an omega-3 supplement if you're someone who doesn't like to eat fish or you don't really get a lot of omega-3s in your diet. I get asked often, well, which supplement do you recommend? There's lots of brands out there. They're all probably going to be fine. I like this Nordic Naturals brand because it's lemon coated. Because one of the things that people don't like about taking a fish oil supplement is the fish burps that can happen after you. So these you get lemon burps. And lemon burps are way more pleasant. MCT oil, that's also another popular fat supplement. This has not been proven to improve sports performance, and it can lead to increases in your total cholesterol and your bad cholesterol. So I don't recommend taking MCT oil. You may have noticed nutrition facts labels on anything you get packaged. Those can help you a lot with figuring out what a food is providing you. There's new label guidelines that have become the guidelines that everything should be converted to as of this year. So you can find your total fat, how many grams is that food providing me, is there saturated fat in it, trans fat. You can find out how many carbs it's giving you under the total carbs, and you can find out how much protein it's giving you. So this is a tool that you guys could use on anything that's packaged. So some competition day tips. Events dependent on muscle carb availability. So these would be your longer sporting events. You're going to want to prepare for those in the days and meals leading up to it. With a carb-rich diet, possibly up to 7 to 12 grams per kilogram for about 24 hours, or even extending that to 48 hours. If you've heard of the term carb loading, that's what you need to do for 48 hours. And foods and fluids consumed for 1 to 4 hours before the event should help contribute to the carb stores to ensure your hydration and glucose availability. And the type and timing amount of foods and fluids should be well trialed and individualized. Don't try anything new on feed day. And then also always want to consider our preferences, tolerances, and experience. Hydration. I wanted to talk about hydration because even if we get all of our nutrition or food right, if our hydration is not right, our performance is going to still suffer. Okay, because dehydration can increase the perception of effort, okay, and impair your exercise performance. And naturally, the heat that you're going to generate while you're exercising will lead to dehydration. If we have fluid losses of greater than 2% of our body weight over practice or over competition, that can lead to a decrease in your performance. And just remember, as we're thinking about how much fluid do I need, water is constantly lost with every breath we take. And if we fly or have changes in altitude, that can also be hydrating. So before exercise, you want to try to consume 5 to 10 milliliters per gram of body weight in 2 to 4 hours. Okay, no, we don't talk milliliters in the U.S. So, let's say I weigh 60 kilograms again. That means I'm going to need 300 to 600 milliliters of water. Your standard water bottle that looks like that provides you 500 milliliters. So you're going to need about one of those water bottles. When more sweating is anticipated, drink more water. You want your urine to be a pale yellow, not clear or dark yellow. That's signs of either overhydration or dehydration. During exercise, we also need to be hydrating, and this should address your sweat losses and the dehydration that's occurring from your muscles working. Typically, 0.4 to 0.8 liters per hour should provide you with enough fluid. So about one of those 500 ml water bottles per hour of exercise should give you enough hydration. But that can vary a lot. If possible, you want to try and be taking a drink every 10 to 20 minutes at practice. You know, sometimes that's not possible. But if it is, that's going to be optimal so that you're getting hydrated without feeling like that slushy stomach of, oh, I got a lot of water in there. Cold ingestion of cold beverages may be helpful, especially if you're working out in hot conditions to help bring down that body temperature. Consuming salty snacks can help with the hydration because part of what we lose in our sweating is salt. And this can also help stimulants first. If we're in a really sweaty situation, we might want to have about 1 gram per hour of salt intake. So some snacks that a lot of athletes find helpful would be like pretzels. So you're going to get your salt and your carbs from that. After exercise, we want to know how much you should be drinking after exercise. You can use the strategy of weighing yourself before and after. But you want to do this with as minimal of clothing as possible, because if we get on the scale after practice with our sweaty clothes, that's going to give us kind of a false weight reading there. And you want to provide about 125 to 150% of what you lose in liters. When rapid rehydration is required, like we're going to have to work out again soon, aim for more. And then ingestion of salt can help with this rehydration process. In general, most of our foods are salty, so you don't really have to worry about that too much. On your normal meal, you're probably going to have salt. So let's put this all together in food. Alright. So we've got our cross-country guy that we talked about earlier. Alright. With those same dimensions. He's in season. He has a 2-hour practice today. Okay. So we estimated his calorie needs earlier with those two equations. That gave us that he needed 3,600 to 3,800 calories per day. Okay, now we look at his carbs next. He's got a very active day, a long workout ahead of him. So he's going to need 6 to 10 grams per kilogram of carbs, which works out to 438 to 730. A lot of carbs. His protein needs, he's about in the middle. He's going to need 1.4 to 1.8 grams per kilogram, or 102 to 131 grams. Estimate that, 20 to 35% of calories. The way you would calculate that, you would take your middle calorie range, 3,700, figure out what 20% of that is, and then divide that by 9. So there's 9 calories per 1 gram of that. And then your fluid needs are going to be about 1 milliliter per calorie. So let's say we figured all that out. Then we're going to go through his day of eating. This is what it would look like. So I'm going to provide you the calories, carbs, the fat, the protein, and the fluid of each food and meal. So for breakfast, he has a bagel with cream cheese, 2 large eggs, and an orange. Okay, that gives him about 700 calories, almost 100 grams of carbs, 20 grams of fat, 30 grams of protein, and I want him to drink about 400 milliliters of non-calorie containing fluid, like water. So you can see we're getting a lot there, but that's because we have to add up to quite a lot by the end of the day. Then he's going to have a snack in the morning. He's going to have a banana and peanut butter. That's going to provide him about 300 calories, about 35 grams of carbs, 14 grams of fat, 9 grams of protein. Then we go to lunch. He has kind of like a burrito bowl. It's got some rice, some chicken, some grilled zucchini, corn, avocado. It's got some chips and salsa, some carrots. That's a pretty substantial lunch, but again, we've got to get a lot of calories with the carbs in. So his fat meal gives him about 860 calories, 124 grams of carbs, 27 grams of fat, 31 grams of protein. Okay, we got a lot of protein in that meal, very easily. And then I want him to drink about 400 milliliters of fluid again. All right, so he's about to work out for 2 hours. So this means he's going to need high carb availability. So before his workout, he's going to have 2 grams of 33 carbs. And that's going to give him about 40 grams of carbs. He's going to be trying to drink one of those 500 milliliters of water. Then during the workout, he's going to need to refuel his carb source, because 2 hours, that's a long time to be putting demands on our muscles. He's going to need to refuel. So during the workout, he's going to have a Gatorade. And the 355 ml, that's like the tiny sports drink that Gatorade provides. And see, that has 23 grams of carbs. Okay. Then he's also going to have one of the gels to give him another 24 grams of carbs. And there's water, ultimately his hydration and carb needs in that workout. Then right after his workout, he's going to have a cup of chocolate milk. This is going to help keep the post-workout hydration needs. going to help with that muscle recovery starting, where he's getting some carbs and protein. Then he's gonna go have dinner. He's gonna have some pasta with meatballs, marinara sauce, some garlic bread, green beans, salad. And that's gonna give him 1,000 calories, 145 grams of carbs, 29 grams of fat, 37 grams of protein. He's gonna drink a lot more water, so he needs to rehydrate. And he's gonna have a snack that night, some yogurt and granola. Gonna also give him some more calories and carbs, about 8 grams of protein there. Okay, so if we added up everything he ate there, he gets 37, 39 calories. That's right within our goal range. He gets 563 grams of carbs, right within our range. He gets 111 grams of fat. He gets 124 grams of protein. And he needs some fluid needs. Yeah?
Oh, sorry. I'll go after you.
Okay. So see, he easily met his protein needs. He met almost the higher end of those protein needs. And he just had food. And there were lots of opportunities where he could increase his meat portions to increase his protein intake. So also important to notice how often he had to eat to manage. Okay, so if we're going to prioritize our nutrition, we probably got to eat more often to meet the needs. What's your question?
So one of my teammates, so we do the same workouts pretty much, but he doesn't tend to look like more fit over time. But he also drinks soda like every meal except breakfast. Does that have that big of an impact on your physical?
Good question. Good question. So notice I didn't have any sodas in here, and that's because we prefer our energy sources to be coming from nutritious food. Okay, yes, soda is going to provide you carbs, but that's not going to be a nutritious food that's going to help us meet all of our vitamins and minerals. And it's really, not beneficial to our health. Soda in particular, there's a lot of research that can mess up your gut microbiome.
I'll try to steer this back in a more serious direction.
Okay.
What about carbonated water? Is it the carbonation that's part of the issue, or is it mainly the sugars that are added?
It's the sugars that are added. Yeah. Carbonated water is fine.
What is the sugar difference between soda and Gatorade?
Good question there. I like it. So the sugar, source is going to be about the same. The amount's going to be different. It's going to be a lot less in Gatorade. And there's some other ingredients in the Gatorade. There's some salt and some potassium that help with the hydration strategies. Good question. So real quick, I've got some practical application tips. So if we're going to try and use nutrition to improve our performance, we need to prioritize that. We need to plan for what we want to achieve. So just like if we wanted to come into season with a new skill, we'd probably be practicing that for a while pre-season. You don't want to, if we want to come into season with a different body composition, we're going to need to prepare for that for a while in the pre-season. Practice, 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 especially for the nutrition around competition or around when we're going to perform. Don't want to try anything new on game day. And then there's apps that you can use to help you track your macronutrients if we're trying to meet a certain nutrition goal. Two of my favorites would be MyFitnessPal. That one has a really great database. And then BiteSnap. That one's nice because it uses facial recognition software, so you can just take a picture of what you're eating, and it knows what you ate, and you just say how much. They're both free, so I like those. Be flexible with yourself. Recognize that your needs are going to change from day to day. It's okay if we're not perfect, but let's figure out how we can improve our performance. And if we're confused, ask for help. Okay, this is a lot of information that I threw at you. There's a lot more that I could go into. So feel free to ask for help. Take advantage of different resources on it. What questions do you guys have? Yes.
So if you have a higher metabolism, do you recommend doubling or tripling your calories? Even on days you don't have
Good. So that's what I talked about when I said we need to constantly be reassessing. So I would recommend start with those predictive equations, start with what we think your activity level is, eat that amount, and then see if that works. If that doesn't work for meeting your goals, then yeah, then maybe you need to increase. But those equations, they take into account how metabolism changes over age and based on sex. Any other questions right now? Okay, if any of you guys have questions that you don't want to ask in front of the whole group, I'll be available for a little while, so feel free to come up and talk to me.